All right. Welcome to the Non-Stuffy Attorneys podcast. Today, got Dan McKenzie on. Welcome, Dan.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Why don't you tell the viewers just a little bit about yourself, where you practice, what you practice, just basic fun stuff.
Well, I am in the Denver, Colorado area, in Centennial specifically, just a little bit south of Denver. Actually, a Denver native. We got a lot of transplants in Colorado, and Denver was not a huge city, and it's kind of growing. So, but I was born here and spent most of my life here. Did go away to the Midwest for a few years there. So I went to Michigan undergrad at Northwestern Law School and was gone for about 15 years and came back here in 2007 and was a litigator for 10 years out of law school and then moved to estate planning and started this firm in 2013. So about 13 years in, almost exactly. And here we are.
Yeah. Were you doing litigation for your own practice, or were you working another one?
I worked at two different firms. I started in Chicago, so doing like plaintiff's class action work for consumer fraud. And then after 4 years of that, came out here. It's actually, that firm was kind of primarily personal injury. And they were trying to get going in class actions. And yeah, it's a pretty big roll of the die. Definitely high risk, high reward, right? I mean, if you can get a class certified, like, you can get a lot of money. We were suing pretty big companies like Experian and like Canon cameras and stuff like that. And they knew that and were ready to fight. And I mean, like right at the time that I got into that, like they were really, the Class Action Fairness Act had been passed, moving class action cases out of state courts and into federal courts, because there was a lot of concern that some state courts could be abused and were very friendly to class action. So they were trying to remedy that by moving them into federal courts. And then there's just always been kind of a bias towards arbitration clauses, and just, I think it was relatively recent at the time that they said, like, no, arbitration clauses can ban class action. So you have to go to arbitration and it's just you. And so it was a challenging area. And I think a couple cases we got really far into, and it's just like the class didn't get certified. And once that happens, you have like a $100 claim and like, yeah, we'll settle now. Right. So once that happens a couple times and you're at a firm that's not really their thing, I felt like I could see where the winds were blowing. It's like, I probably should go somewhere else now. And we had a baby, and it was just time to do something else. And my parents were still in Colorado. My dad happened to connect with somebody who owned a firm here that did mass tort. So another form of kind of large, aggregate cases. And at the time, they were considering getting into class actions too, actually. So they were interested in me, and then I got out here and mostly did mass tort. They do a lot of different types of litigation, actually. So, but also a lot of plaintiff side stuff. And so I did that for 6 more years, and then got to a point where, how old was I? 40? I was closing in on it. Getting to a point where it's like, I'm either going to be doing this permanently, or I need to figure out if I really want to do this. And I mean, I'm not the most naturally combative person in the world. I was not like, I didn't love the constant emergencies of litigation. It's like every day you go, you show up to the office and it's like, I have a plan. Like, the one thing I know I'm not going to be doing is my plan, right? Like something is going to come up where it's like, that's not what's happening. So, I mean, I worked with people that just love that, right? Just having things sprung on them, and it's just a fight, and like you're in front of courts, and you're having to come up with stuff. And I mean, I always found it to be very stressful. So I think at that point, kind of ready to change. Estate planning had actually been my favorite course in law school. I had a really good professor. He went on to become the youngest tenured law professor in Harvard history. So he's at Harvard now, and is just like, a big wig there. And he was, amazingly enough, like a really good teacher, right? those guys at that level usually maybe aren't always the best teachers, but he's really good. My contracts professors and my estate planning professor. So I really liked it. But I was thinking about it, it's like, I don't know a ton of people who like go out of law school and just go into estate planning. It just seems like it's a litigation refugee field, right? It's just like all these people who just have the same story I just told, where it's just like, it was just not like, litigation's a pretty, given how the skill set that it requires, the number of people that have that skill set, like it's not real high. And it's like, you're going out of law school. And I just felt like that's definitely where they kind of pushed you, is when
Yeah, it's definitely a skill set, right? And a skill set and a personality set.
Yeah. That again, I mean, I'd say, like I feel like most people I run into are like, yeah, I kind of hate confrontation, and just not really thinking through like, oh, well, it's constant confrontation. I mean, like, you own a business. It's like, well, I have competitors out there. I have people who might kind of profit at my expense, but they're not constantly trying to figure out like how to trip me up, unless they're really operating at some sort of ethical level that would be kind of almost criminal. But in litigation, it's just like, yeah, you've got someone out there that like, yeah, they're looking for every mistake and they're going to jump on it. And even non-mistakes, they're going to jump on and kind of turn them into like, portray them as mistakes. And
that's like the game. That's the game there.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So like I say, I worked with people who loved it, nothing against it at all. It's like, there's a lot of people doing a lot of noble work. I mean, I think we all know, like, you got the ambulance chaser reputation or whatever. It's like, well, people really do get injured, and it really is someone's fault, and it really is very expensive, and it can be a life-changing thing. I mean, when I was doing the mass tort stuff, we were dealing with people who had, taken drugs that didn't seem like, it wasn't like, if you're taking like GLP-1s right now, like that's kind of on the cutting edge. There's a little bit of like, there's no history here. They're telling us it's safe. It probably, let's hope they're right. I dealt with drugs where it's like, this is like the 15th iteration of this drug that's been on the market forever. And it's like, suddenly it has this problem that no one expected. And people have, blood clot issues for the rest of their lives now because of this, and have to, go through.
Yeah. There's that one, God, I can't remember the name of the drug. It was some heart medication or something. Maybe. Anyway, the pharmaceutical company basically knew that it was harmful, and that their profits were going to be way higher, even if they got sued. Then it was like a $6 billion suit or something. But they ended up,
yeah. I mean, the first case that I got involved in, it might have been, maybe you're talking about Vioxx. Yeah,
that's it.
Yeah. So that's like a $20 billion settlement. And it's like nothing. Like, the stock goes up the next day. It's like nothing to them, right? To like spend $20 billion settling a case, right? It's kind of amazing. But yeah, I mean, my old boss, like if you got him going, like at our social events on like kind of historical things he had done, like he could rattle off emails that they had found like in Discovery, like doing these pretty cold-blooded calculations of like, okay, yeah, we know this is a problem. We're going to do it anyway.
Yeah, it's messed up.
Yeah. So
yeah, Vioxx had like 60-some thousand deaths attributed to it, or some shit like that.
Yeah. I mean, our cases, we'd have like 1,200 clients at a time, right? And it's not, people don't understand, those are not class actions. I mean, everybody has their own medical history you got to go through. We don't want to give the same amount of money to an obese 70-year-old that we're giving to, 25-year-old triathlete. So it's like, you got to go through and figure that stuff out. And every part, like the settlement is like, the clients would hear there's a settlement like that, $20 billion. And then they start calling, and it's like, oh, we just started a process that now is going to go another 4 years. Like, we got to go through everybody's medical records, and they do too. And we're going to put you on this grid and figure it out. And
so for a suit like that, like a 70-year-old would get paid less than a 20-year-old.
Yeah, that was the goal in most cases.
I had no idea that was part of it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, because obviously, you got to settle every case individually, right? I mean, you get these MDLs, these multi-district litigations, where it's like one judge is kind of overseeing everything, but it really is like thousands and thousands of separate lawsuits. So,
oh my God.
Yeah, it's really quite a system. But again, like, what do you do? Like, if people really have been like, they're having these serious injuries as a result of some of this stuff, and they need to be able to sue and have their case heard.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But we've got a bunch of probates that are tied up in the Camp Lejeune
Yeah, I got a couple of those. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be a while. Like I said, it's like, yeah, you got to do all the litigation. Like what they do is they will pick like, some small number of cases that they actually can manage and take to trial. And that's a fight, right? It's like, well, which 10 cases are we going to choose? Which are like we're trying to get some sort of representative sample here. We can't have only obese 70-year-olds. We got to have an obese 70-year-old and the 25-year-old triathlete and some represent so we can see what juries are doing, and then make the offer to all the other thousands of cases based on what happened there. So, I mean, the number of points at which to fight, you've got your co-counsel. I mean, the thousands of cases are being represented by hundreds of lawyers who all want some say and want more fees and everything else. So you're kind of fighting that's kind of a combative area. And then you got to fight with the attorneys for the drug companies and your clients. Like I say, the clients are, as clients are, I think maybe experience the probate process too. Like they're just not ready for how long things take once they get into court. And so you've got it coming from all sides.
Yeah. Wild practice area.
Yeah. So like I said, I got to a point where I was just like, I am the longest serving associate now at this firm that I'm at. I guess we're at a point where it's like I'm going to be either offered some sort of equity position or not. And I'm not entirely sure how I feel about either one of those outcomes, honestly. So that's not a great sign. So, at that point, I was a 10-year lawyer, but, kind of thinking, well, what do I want to do next? Estate planning had always been in the back of my mind. Because like I said, it's the course that I liked the most in law school. I kind of liked, just like, again, I hear it a million times from all these litigation refugees in this field, just like, I like the idea of being able to plan my day and be able to calmly sit down and write out this plan. And again, not have to worry that some adverse attorney is going to rip it apart, the moment they get it. All that was appealing, but I had taken 2 bar exams at that point. Both of them had estate planning on them, but it had been 6 years since the last one. So I had to remind myself of some pretty basic stuff, frankly.
What'd you do to get trained up? Did you take any courses? Did you
Yeah. I mean, we have something, so you can see the orange books on my well, maybe you can't. We have something in Colorado called the Orange Book, which is a Colorado Bar Association puts out those books, like with, one is just the treatise, like with all the advice and recommendations on doing estate planning. And then there's another book that's the accompanying book that has like a lot of forms in it. And so there's a trust in there, there's wills in there, like you can adapt them. It's really meant for like, attorneys who are kind of out there on the Eastern Plains and maybe kind of do everything. So they're doing a criminal, they're doing a divorce, then they got an estate plan come in. But I mean, I see like estate planning attorneys who really specialize in it. Like I recognize the forms when I see them come across my desk. And so people really do use them and they're pretty good. It's kind of got its own interesting history because I think what happened was a lot of people were creating trusts in Colorado and then passing away. And then the banks were like, had accounts that were titled to these trusts and finding out these trusts are terrible. Like there's no instructions in here at all, like missing like really basic information. So the banks started to put out their own forms. Like here's what we want to see in these trusts. And I think like some industry group maybe put together a book and like the lawyers in the Colorado Bar Association were like, we should be running that. Why are the banks doing that? It's like, we should be running that. So they kind of took it over and it became the Orange Book. So it's a very good starting place. I think a lot of attorneys that get in this field in Colorado kind of use that book, at least initially. And then I joined Wealth Counsel, and I think Wealth Counsel, the educational stuff is great.
Did you join that like right after starting up?
No, it was probably a little bit over a year, actually.
Okay. What would you have done, like if you had advice for someone who was in your position? Right? What would you have done differently to get the practice started up and your training and all of that?
I mean, like I said, I've listened to the podcast like a lot of times, so I know I've heard your story about reading the thousands of reviews and planning your marketing and all that kind of stuff. And I wish I could say I'd done all that. It's fine. My dad is not a lawyer. he had kind of a business, like oil and gas thing with a partner. And at the time they were looking for some help. And I was thinking, well, I could give them that help, and that would be kind of a bridge while I get this kind of thing started and all that. And nothing really came of that. I did a few tasks for them, but it was never like anything where I'm like going to work every day and like having to work on projects for them. So it just wasn't big enough. So, but that gave me like some assurance that I honestly don't know if I would have done it if I didn't have that. And the fact that it really turns out that I kind of didn't have it is interesting, because I think it enabled me to proceed without the level of planning that probably I should have done. So a little bit to my detriment, but my joke is like, if I had really tried to plan it out, I never would have done it. I mean, I would have been like, there's too many questions here I can't answer. So
yeah, it can be nerve-wracking for people. For us, when we moved from California to Florida 2019, and the whole plan was for my wife to work. She was licensed in Pennsylvania. She had been in-house counsel in California, and the plan was for her to resume that when we got here. And she had applied to places while we were in California, and never really heard back from anyone. And we kind of got word from some recruiters that they really want you living here already. So we're like, okay, well, we're moving there already. Well, so she comes and she starts applying to places, and the pay was just like terrible. It was like, yeah, man, it was, and it's like, oh shit, this is a real problem. Yeah. And at the time, like our savings is just like whittling very, very quickly. Yeah. And we got to the point where it was like, we had 10 grand in our bank account, and, you know, it was kind of like sink or swim. We didn't really have an option. We got kind of lucky, I guess, that it worked out. But
yeah, I mean, it definitely helps to have some backup in place. But yeah, at the same time, it's just like, burn that bridge, I guess. And if you have I've been advised by several coaches I've worked with or whatever else, like if you have a plan B, like forget it. You're just never gonna commit to the extent that you need to commit. So yeah, it was definitely like, yeah, at the beginning it was just me, and I had no clients related to estate planning. I had no reputation in estate planning. I mean, again, like the stuff that I didn't, I feel like every instinct I had was wrong. I mean, it's just like amazing. Like, like I came out of litigation, I was kind of thinking, well, I think, I'm okay, because I kind of got this backup thing. Like I can market myself as a little bit more of like the budget conscious attorney for people who need, maybe are willing to pay a little bit less in exchange for an attorney who is working on kind of developing this area of practice. And it's just like, pretty quickly, I was talking with an accountant that I work with. He's like, if you go down that road, you will never break out of it, right? Yes. It's like, once you develop that reputation, that's going to be who you are known. They're going to refer more of their friends. Those friends are going to know what their friends paid, and it's just going to be not good. But I think a ton of attorneys, it's funny because our reputation is for being greedy and, everything else. It's like so many attorneys struggle with, pricing and charging and collecting and all that kind of stuff. And I had working in like the way that I did, like in these class actions and mass torts, I was a pretty small piece in a very large process anyway. I was always an associate attorney, so I never really had insight into like the firm's finances. And I never had a fee agreement negotiation with a client at all. They were several steps in by the time they got to me. Like in the mass tort area, it's like you see those ads on TV where attorneys are advertising and saying like, have you been injured by this drug? Give us a call. And like, we did not run those ads, but the attorneys who ran those ads would get the clients and then send them to us, and we do the legal work. So the client had signed the fee agreement with them and then transferred it to us. So I never had to do that. My only fee discussion came at the end of the case when we're talking about those settlements that I just discussed, and reminding them like, yeah, you're going to get $200,000 according to this grid that I'm looking at. But remember, you're paying us 40%. So it's actually 120, and they're going to take your medical bills too, right? So you're looking at like 80 by the time this is all over. So that was not fun, but it was like, this is what you signed.
It just is. It is what it is.
I don't really care what you think. I want to be nice about this, but I don't really like, this is just, I'm here to tell you what it is. So I did not have to get somebody to pull out a credit card or checkbook or anything like that. That's the part that I feel like I really failed to fully appreciate what that would be like.
And so how was that for you when you first started out?
I mean, everybody was thinking over. I think so I didn't really have any process in place because I never worked for an estate planning firm. So, I mean, I was learning how even the attorneys like package the document, like what they include, like I said, really basic stuff actually. The 1,000 review reading that you did is like really impressive to me because I was definitely not operating at that level. So I think I've just learned over the years that it like really helps to have a process just because you can more confidently tell them like, well, here's what it is at least. Because at the beginning I was, again, every instinct I had was wrong. It's just like feeling it out. Just like, does this person seem like they might not panic with the fee that's a little bit bigger, that kind of stuff, like mentally. So just like terrible, right? I just did not have it nailed down at all. And so, everybody was a think it over. I was like, I kind of need to think it over myself, I think. So, so eventually I took like a 2-year sales class, like every week. Every Monday for 2 years, I went. Like if you've heard of the Sandler method, I did the Sandler method. So very helpful. They are very much into, having a process and all that kind of stuff. Like I think a lot of sales consultants probably say similar advice, which is get them talking about their pain. Like you want the person you're talking to doing 70% of the talking, you're doing 30%. And I actually struggle to implement that. And I would say I don't do that. I do a lot, like in my initial consultations, I still do a ton of talking actually. But I feel like I've got something down now where it's like it is working. And I think the problem with estate planning that's a little bit unique is like the clients just don't have any idea. No idea. They're not in pain. They're not like they're always like, well, they're calling for some reason. They must be in some pain. Like they're worried about something. Like, yes, but I mean, we've all had the experience where it's like, the doctor on his third wife with kids from the previous 2 wives and the property in Hawaii. And he's like, I think I'm simple. I don't really think I've got anything going on here. It's like, oh my God. So their ability to assess like what is complicated. And I just tell people, it's like a blended family is like, okay, you're already out of, this isn't simple anymore. It's common. Lots of blended families out there, but it's not simple.
Yeah, for sure. So do you have like a sales process down now? Like, okay, this is what I do on every consultation.
Yeah, my consultation's like 80% the same.
Yeah.
I mean, we're trying, like we've dabbled in seminars, we've dabbled in webinars, we've dabbled in a couple other things to try and like pull it off. But I don't know. It just, because it can get a little bit time consuming, but I mean, we now have an intake team, like people dedicated to actually talking, like what used to be just the receptionist would take the call and try and get them to come in. We do charge for our consultations. So they've already paid by the time they reach me. So really the intake team has the harder sales job than I do. That's sometimes really difficult to get someone to pay for a consultation. Yeah, for sure. But by the time they reach me, they've made a pretty a significant commitment already, so that helps. But then I really do educate them on at that first consultation. I just try and reassure them like, look, I'm not looking for decisions today. I just want to show you like, here's all the stuff that you actually need to think about. And about 90% of the time, by the time I'm done with it, I whiteboard it and all that kind of stuff. They're like, oh, wow, that was so clarifying. My favorite compliment is like people who worked with attorneys previously. And they're like, I did not know any of this. This is like really, really helpful. So I really like that compliment. About 10% of the time, like, oh my God, now I didn't realize it was this complicated. I don't like that. Don't like that comment at all because I'm not trying to complicate it. But the IRS, is involved. Your bank is involved. I don't know what the lawyers at your bank are going to say about all this, right? So we got to write it for them too. So I'd love to just do a little, picture, a drawing on a napkin or something like that for you. But
Do you use a literal whiteboard?
yeah,
Nice. That's smart.
I kind of like played around with like doing a PowerPoint thing, but I think people like it feels. I think it gives a little bit of credibility when I can just rattle this thing off without notes and all kind of. And I really do try to incorporate all their personal stuff into it.
It feels more personal too.
Yeah,
I think when you're doing it on the fly, and yeah,
for sure. So that's the part, like, I mentioned like having dabbled in seminars. Like, I feel like it goes really well when I'm meeting one-on-one with people or with a couple or whatever, but I don't know, it doesn't seem to land quite as well with the larger groups because I can't really personalize it as much, and it's a little bit harder to, like, I'm trying to, I don't know. I know I've known a number of people who just have smashing success with seminars, and I don't know, I haven't cracked that one yet.
Same here, man. We don't know what the hell we're doing with seminars, but we're doing something wrong.
It's it's almost like my conversation about the multi-district litigation, which is just like the number of fail points in a seminar is just like so high. Like, you send out the invitation, like, oh, it was the wrong color or something like that. Like, it wasn't a color that appealed to me. Like, you picked a date that's like, oh, it's the Thursday NFL game for your city's team. Didn't realize that. It snows. Like, it's just like something like that happens. Then you got to get there. It's like, it's like, I just have found, I don't know, I think you really got to dedicate yourself to it and get it on a system, because when we try and do like one or two at a time, it's like the office, just like everybody doesn't remember what they're supposed to do, and we got to figure it all out again. And I think if you really get it going, but it's a pretty big commitment, I think.
Totally. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. I think you're right. You have to get some kind of system in place, and you probably need to commit to it and do it pretty frequently. Like,
Yeah.
We've got, Jordan Lulich. He's down in South Florida. He's killing it. He does. That's where he gets the majority of his business. Some others that I know are just like, Scott Hold up in New York. Their practice is just, that's what they rely on. It's really good in theory, right? Because you do one seminar, say 30 people, and 5 or 6 of them sign up. It's like, okay, you just spent 1 hour to get 5 or 6 people to sign up. It's like, take that all day long. But yeah.
But then they come in and it's like, you got to sell them again. I find, like, so yeah, I try like getting them to come in, like, okay, they sign up at the seminar, and then there's a whole process for like actually getting them to come. And then they come, and it's just like, I don't know. Like I say, I've seen it work a million times. I know it works if you do things correctly, but that one has been elusive to me. So, but anyway, I feel like maybe I don't need to do it. I need to figure out something to kind of, again, lower the number of, the number of intakes that we do, because it does feel like, again, I'm not saying a ton of new stuff to every single person I see.
Wait, say that one more time. I didn't get that.
I feel like there is got to be some way to kind of scale this up a little bit. I mean, that's the challenge that we say, which is just like, again, these intakes, like, I enjoy them and all that, but like I said, I think I've gotten pretty good now, especially it's narrowed down to people who are paying us already. But just the feeling like, gosh, this is I'm giving people a lot of the same information. This is like this is a bottleneck, and it seems like I should be able to figure this out.
Have you considered non-attorney salespeople?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Have you tried it or no?
I have not tried it. I think I heard in previous podcasts that that's what you do.
Yep. Yeah. We have two dedicated non-attorney salespeople. We have 4 intake people now. Yeah, for sure. That is on the table. Yep. I mean, I think we're going to have another, I have one associate attorney now. We're actually in the process of bringing another one on board that, we really, our interview process, the whole process was designed at getting someone who's pretty good at those. So we'll see if we
did that
as an attorney.
Yeah.
All right. That's been a needle in a haystack for us to find, because it's like, just like the litigator is a personality, you know, and a skill set. It's the same thing with sales. It's like, you look at what you did. You spent 2 years learning sales.
Yeah.
You dedicated your ass to it. And most attorneys go to law school to do lawyer stuff, not proper sales stuff. But then there are people who are dedicated just to doing sales, for whatever industry. I don't know. That's the way I see us, or that's how we have scaled, I should say. Otherwise, like, there's only so many hours in the day for you, right? There's only so many hours in the day for my wife to do consultations, and so you end up being the bottleneck.
Yeah, I think the thing that finally is forcing it is just like, I've got a couple things planned this year I will totally be out of contact for a week or more, actually. So it's good. It's forcing it.
Yeah. That happened with us a couple times. Like, shit, we're gonna be gone for a week. That's it. Like, funny enough, our team actually did. This is before we had a full like sales team, but they picked up the slack every time we've gone away and not been able to. They've always done well. It's like, okay, how about you do that while I'm here too?
They don't listen to this, do they? I mean, I'm kind of the poster child for things that's like, here's what not to do. But because all the vacations I think we've ever done, I've still been in some level of contact. There was one we went to Malta. I mean, it's a little bit off the grid there, so I don't remember what we did then, but I don't think I was in close contact at that point. We did a Disney cruise at one point. Like, there was no Wi-Fi on the boat, so that I'm aware of. So there are a couple of moments where I was gone for at least a little while, but this time.
What do you got coming up that you're going to be away for?
So my friends and I are trying to hike the Colorado Trail, which is a trail that goes from Denver to Durango. So it's about 500 miles. It's divided up into, I want to say, 40 segments of varying length. So some of them are 15 miles and some of them are, I think the longest one is 33. So we're not doing the whole thing in one shot. Like, there are people who do that, but it takes a couple months. So this is 3 or 4 guys. I think at one point I counted between 4 of us, we had like 21 kids or something like that. So for the 4 of us to get away and actually like go off the grid like this, like you got to be, the wives have to be on board, and really like the stars have to align. But we are doing another 90-mile segment in July, and that's, backcountry. Like, there's no.
Yeah.
Sense.
So is that the first? So when's the first one?
So that one will happen in July. So we've done like 200 miles of it already. And,
you've already done some of it.
Yeah, we've done a good chunk. Yeah, we've done.
Nice.
Yeah. So, but this will be the longest chunk we've done so far. So I'm a little bit. But one of the guys is bringing along a couple of his kids. I was like, I gotta beat those kids. Like, right?
How old are they? The kids?
I think 16 and probably 14. So.
Okay. All right. It's kind
of. If you get into this world and start watching YouTube videos of people hiking, like, you'll see people, like, there's some family that has like 6 kids and like the youngest is 2, and they hike the Appalachian Trail with all these kids. I'm like,
oh my God,
it's insane. I think at one point they diverted and got off the trail, flew back home to run the Boston Marathon, and then flew back and got back on the trail. And this family is, I think they literally had CPS called on them. Like, this is abusive to these kids. But yeah, we passed a family similar to that, where it's like the mom was carrying a baby on her back. And I'm like, I mean, it's taken everything I have to carry just my bag without diapers and.
Right. How much does your bag weigh?
We try and keep it like in the 30 to 35 range, but at the start it's like 40 pounds.
Yeah. That's still a lot to carry around for.
Yeah.
How many days will the 90 miles take you?
I think we're going for 7.
7 days you'll do 90 miles.
Yeah. I think
That
we're trying to
seems-
do 13 average a day.
God, that seems like a lot. Like not a lot of time, a lot of miles every day.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we did a 70-mile segment and I was like, this is the hardest thing I've ever done.
Yeah.
Like athletically speaking, like this is up there. And I'm not like, I mean, before we started doing this, like, I don't even like to car camp. Like, I don't like do this. Like, this is not my thing at all. Like, I'm borrowing a lot of stuff from the friends and they're dragging me along, like kicking and screaming pretty much. But I have major FOMO. Like, I heard them talking about it. They invited me. And it's like, I can't hear about these guys doing this and not do it. Right. I mean, this scene is like, my wife is completely baffled by it. She's like, you don't even do this. Like, why are you doing this? Very borderline annoyed, but she puts up with it. But yeah, so that will be July. And then my wife actually was born in Australia. She grew up mostly, I mean, they moved here like when she was 3. So you would not know she was Australian, but she does have an Australian passport and all of her extended family's in Australia. So we've not been there for a while. So we're trying to go there in January, I guess. So again, like I'll be asleep while this place is running. So it's really not, obviously we'll have internet and all that kind of stuff, but that'll be a pretty good disconnect for a pretty long time, actually. So it needs to be ready to go on without me. And I can't, the problem with me doing all these we call them evaluation sessions, the first session, is if I'm gone for 3 weeks, eventually down the road, there's a major hole in our calendar where we're not doing any plans. So
who do you have someone? Okay. Do you have anyone else doing the consultations now, or just you?
Right now, it's just been me. So my associate attorney kind of handles, like, we do the 3 meeting system. So we have the design next and then the signing, and he handles all those. And I've been doing the evaluations. And I'm the one that took the class. I'm the one that developed. Like, it's just like my name is on the firm, so they're a little bit more, I don't know, expecting to see me, that kind of thing. So we got to work on all that to try and make sure that.
Don't worry about that.
Yeah.
No, don't worry. We had that same consideration. Like, oh, they're going to want to speak with Ashley, right? Ashley's the managing attorney. They're going to want, and it just hasn't been an issue. Some people, right? Some people say, hey, I want to speak. I want to have a consult with her.
Yeah.
In those cases, we charge for those. But generally speaking, man, it's a non-issue. So don't worry about it.
It's kind of amazing, like what you like, the things you think are like totally important, and then you find out, like when we decided to charge, we used to do free consultations, just like everyone, and eventually determined, like, I had way too many. I like literally couldn't do as many as I had. So that was the point where we decided to start charging, and we're very nervous. Like, that's when we really are like, let's charge for the consultation, and we'll offer seminars. So we'll do a seminar at least every couple of weeks, and that will be their choice. We'll try to get them to go to the seminar, and then if they don't want to go to the seminar, we'll offer the consultation, but they got to pay for it. And at the time, we just had the receptionist. We did not have the intake team. And she starts doing it, and she's like, everybody is choosing the paid consultation. Like, we literally had nobody, like one person coming in the seminar. It's like, so this person's basically getting a free consultation because it's a seminar for one. Yeah. But so we.
What do you charge for a consultation?
Right now, $495.
Nice.
Yeah. So
that'll get them invested.
It's pretty. So the closure rate for there is like north of 80%, which almost to me seems a little bit low, frankly, because they've already paid that much. But we get that. We get them to fill out. So our promise to them is like, it's going to be a real attorney meeting. Like, we're going to talk to you about your stuff, and we'll give you some advice. And if you end up not wanting to move forward, that's fine. But they do fill out like our full intake questionnaire, and we've got all their assets and everything else. So we used to only do that after the consultation going into the design, but so they're invested a couple ways. They put a lot of time into that, and they paid money. So
what about, do you get people requesting refunds before they had the consultation?
Pretty rarely. Yeah. No, it has happened, but no, not really.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, that's of course the other thing. So of course we're telling us applying to the fee. That's the other, I mean, that's challenge. And frankly, so I work with my wife too. So my wife is the paralegal. It's the other way around for us. I'm the lawyer. She's the paralegal. She should be the lawyer. She took I mean, she was a year behind me in college. And so she took the LSAT 1 year after me, and she scored in like, I think the 98th percentile. Like it was like she could have gone anywhere. So yeah, she kicked my ass on the LSAT. But so the plan was, and that's an interesting story. So the plan was like I went to law school first, and then starting my 3rd year, I'm trying to remember the timing on this, like she went that LSAT score expired like that year, unfortunately. So she's gonna have to take it again. So like my first day of classes, she goes out to the bookstore to buy some LSAT prep books. Found out she was pregnant with our first child like that day, actually. So bought the LSAT prep books and a pregnancy test apparently, and
comes in Barnes. They sell it in the waiting line at Barnes and Noble.
It's like Walmart, covers everything. Turns out her pregnancies are pretty rough. Like she really struggles with the morning sickness, which we learned is not an accurately named affliction. I mean, it is like a 24-hour, like totally incapacitated for like 7 of the 9 months. Really can't get out of bed. During our second child, I mean, we had like a nurse intravenously hydrating her at our house every day. I mean, it was like real bad. Somehow we have 4 kids, so persevered. But at any rate, that really knocked her off of that. So she was she struggled through that, and then stayed at home until our youngest was 5. And at that point, I was like, "You should come and just help me. Like, if you could draft one plan." Like at that time, it was just me and like maybe a part-time admin assistant. And it's like, if you could come draft one plan, that would be amazing. That would take so much off my plate. And so now, of course, like, and then she clocked 43 hours last week. So with overtime and everything. So, and she's, again, she's I don't know. We're trying to make her be like the full operations person here. Right. So she's been kind of the estate planning paralegal with some office management. We're trying to flip that for her too and be like full office management, all the HR stuff and everything else. But that's also in process. So at any rate, I don't remember what we were talking about before I got derailed on that. But yeah, so she kind of oversees the intake team. And yeah, obviously like their closing rate is not 80%. It's low, but it's okay. It's as long as they get enough. They've been doing that. So with the paid consultations.
Are you doing probate?
Yeah. And that, I mean, I've heard you say you guys like most of your revenues from probate?
About 70%.
I mean, that's amazing to me because I feel like, again, it's like this area of law attracts people who are trying to get out of court. And so I think most people are focused on the estate plan. I know I was 100% focused on estate planning, like nothing about probate at all. And eventually it's just like, I think it's just the very common evolution of an estate planning practice that it ages and the clients start dying and you get these calls. So it's always been a little bit of the redheaded stepchild of the firm, but we did. So that's been, yeah, it's like, I think estate planning is like, it's like 80-20 for us, estate planning and probate. But we did hire, we've made a few tries of this. I think we've really got someone, the right team at the moment doing probates. And so we're trying to be more dedicated about really going after probates. I know there's a lot of chest thumping and tough talk out there about like AI can never replace us. I'm like, I don't know about that.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know about
I feel
that.
like estate planning is the most like susceptible to AI of all the law practices. Like this is
100%, right? 100%. It's funny because I decided to get us into probate. Must have been 2022. And it was because I was worried about a recession.
Yep.
And another shutdown or whatever. It's like, okay, are people going to shell out our fees for an estate plan. It's almost, I don't want to say an estate plan is a luxury, but it a little bit is. They're not like in a pain point.
Yeah, you can put it off.
You can put it off. Yeah. It's not, yeah. But if you have, your dad died and there's, 200 grand sitting there that you can get access to, right?
Yeah.
People are always going to die no matter what's going on. And in Florida, there's two types of probate. The formal one, the larger estate one, you have to have an attorney.
Oh.
Yeah. The summary, if it's less than 75,000 in assets, then they can, they can do it on their own without one. But so it was kind of, for us, it was like, yeah, this is, and man, what I'm looking at, are you doing anything with AI right now with your firm?
I mean, it's mostly things that pop in my head. Like, it's not like a really structured thing. I should probably think a little bit harder about it. But yeah, I use it a lot. I'm sure other people are using it, but it's like not been a coordinated effort, honestly.
Yeah. So I'm at the very beginning stages of really seeing what it can do for us. Have you heard of Claude Cowork?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Have you messed around with it at all?
No, I primarily use Claude, and I see the Cowork thing, and I just haven't figured out what it does. I guess it works with the files on your computer or something like that.
Yeah, man, you can essentially have it do whatever you want.
Okay.
Like, you can do whatever you want, whatever you would do on a computer, it can do. If you give it the documentation on what to do. I'm still like fumbling around with it and watching YouTube videos and seeing how we can implement it. But when I first downloaded it, it was like last week. And I said, my desktop is kind of a mess, right? I got shit all over it. And so I said, go into my desktop and organize all the folders and put the documents in the appropriate folders. That's the only command I gave it. And I literally watched it do that on my screen. Just watched it. It's
like magic when you really see like when you do something like, Jesus, this is something. This
right.
Is something. So yeah, I mean, and I just keep falling back like, this is the worst it's ever going to be, right? I mean, it's only going to get more capable and more human-like, and they'll get better at like data. I mean, anything where you're organizing paperwork and data and all that kind of stuff. That's what we do. And so, yeah, I had the exact same thought as you on the probate as far as the recession goes. I just feel like it's a little bit more recession proof. And I think, in 2020, everybody's like, when this COVID stimulus stops, it's going to be like the worst recession we've ever had. That kind of didn't happen, but it feels like, I don't know, the longer we go without something significant, it feels like when it finally happens, it's going to be bad. So I don't know. Yeah, I had the same thought as you do. So I definitely want to be capable of it. And really, it's harder. I mean, it's a totally different business. It's nothing like estate planning. Like, it feels like, you're the same firm. It's like, the marketing is more like personal injury marketing, where it's just like, I tell people, it's like, estate planning, you got to be kind of a, proactive person who's organized and thinks about things and is aware of self-aware and that kind of stuff. Any idiot can get thrown into probate. So like, the ability to market, like when marketing people that we work with ask me, well, what's your ideal client on estate planning? I've got a pretty good answer at this point. On probate, I'm just like, somebody who's in probate. I don't know.
There's no avatar for it.
Yeah. So, I mean, they're still within that. I mean, there's some clients who are pretty difficult.
Yeah, of course.
But I haven't figured out how to articulate what makes someone hard in probate. Yeah, and you don't know. I always tell them, like, look, the most lovely person in the world can walk in your office and sign your fee agreement, and then you find out, like, oh, their siblings are not
right
at all, right.
Right.
So we're gonna be dealing with them. So
do you market for probate?
I mean, I'm trying to. Like, we definitely do some PPC stuff for probate. I'm in the middle of pretty aggressive video production. And I told the people that I'm working with on that, like, I really actually want to focus on probate quite a bit, because I feel like our estate planning is humming along pretty well, actually. But probate is just not anywhere near as many leads as I want to get on that. And again, I just feel like I talked to so many attorneys, again, because they left litigation. They came to this area. It's like, I don't want court. So I just know so many planning attorneys who don't do probate. I can't think of an attorney I've ever met that does probate and not planning. Might have heard about it on a podcast, but it never goes the other direction as far as I can.
We actually have one marketing client. He's in Florida. He only does probate. And I was really surprised. That's the only person I've ever met that just does probate.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, very.
I feel like, I heard about somebody on a podcast and he was in Florida, so maybe that's your client. I feel like it's just there's a lot more open territory there than there is.
Do you do the whole state for probate?
Yeah, because it's mostly, the number of times we have to go to court here is pretty low. And now, I can't remember the last time I did a hearing where I actually had to go to the court.
Okay. Are you marketing to the whole state for probate on PPC?
No. I think our PPC stuff is like within a mile. Like, I know it's it could be anywhere in the country because the dead person's here, but that doesn't mean the family that's going to be doing it is here. So
yeah, change it up. Change it up so you're doing the whole state. We have 2 campaigns running for us. We have a statewide probate campaign, and then we have a nationwide campaign running for people who are searching that are out of Florida, right? So their IP address is out of Florida, but they're searching for a Florida probate attorney.
Okay.
And those are really hot because they're not in the state. It's like, if you can give them reassurances that you're going to take care of all of it. Because when they're out, not local, or when they're out of state, there's more uncertainty for them, right? It's like they feel more removed. And so if you can really say, hey, look, we're going to take care of this for you. Like, don't worry, you're in good hands. They're easier sells than honestly the ones that are in state or local.
I feel like I asked about that at one point. I was told it was just really hard economically to do it, but you're finding that it's okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll readdress that. Cause like I said, it could be anywhere. It could be any person. It could be, any age, any income level. Like, there's just no way to limit it.
Yeah.
It's a
very, we pump a lot of budget. Most of our budget, it's about 50-50 with Florida and national. We tweak it here and there, just kind of depending on the weeks and how the conversions are looking and that type of thing. Sometimes the national campaign will be more than we'll have more budget towards it than the Florida one, and vice versa. But dude, totally worth it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Landing page is key. The landing page is absolutely key. Yeah.
Okay.
So.
Okay. Well, I'm really trying to put more into getting more probate cases, because in most cases they're not contested and it's fine. But I just feel like, I have litigation experience. It feels like I might as well still put that to some use.
Would you do contested probates?
We've done a couple. It's hard because it's litigation. It's like you still just like stuff like being able to like keep all the documents organized. Like, if you're a litigator, like you have all the software in place to scan and Bates number and all that kind of stuff. And, again, it's probably like you got to dedicate yourself to it to make it worthwhile to buy those tools, because I think they're pretty expensive. That's been the hard part. It's just like the infrastructure in place. Like, I know how to draft interrogatories and document requests and all that kind of stuff, but it's weird. The hard part is like in civil litigation, like you're following the rules of civil procedure. It's pretty well established. Like when you're in probate court, like you've got those rules, but then you've also got the probate court rules, and the judges generally, I just feel like they can kind of just do a little bit more like, we're trying to do something equitable here, and we're not necessarily, I don't know. Sometimes I feel like the judges are super rigid about following the rules of civil procedure, and sometimes I walk into a hearing and it's just like, okay, I didn't realize this is what we were doing today. So this is not great. But it's just harder to predict, Whereas,
are there counties that you don't work in for probate?
Not really. No. If it was contested, that would be a problem. Like if I really had to potentially go to a court or depose people in some location, like, yeah, it could be pretty,
Yeah, that would be a problem.
pretty far away in some parts of the state. So that probably would need to be Denver Metro.
Yeah. Yeah. Like we don't do any work in Miami-Dade, Palm Beach County, those two counties. We don't do anything. They're just like complete nightmares to work with. So, we don't market there at all. But when we do get cases that call in, we're just like, sorry, can't help you.
Is that just because the courts are too backed up or what?
The courts are backed up. The judge, just the whole court system, the judges, the JAs, all of them are just like god awful apparently. And I don't do the legal work. I'm not interacting with them, but it's so bad that last year we're just like made it a policy. We're not doing any work there.
Okay. Yeah. No, I don't think we have anything like that here that I've encountered. Denver has like a dedicated probate court. The rest of the state, you're in front of judges that can be hearing all kinds of stuff actually. So only Denver has a dedicated probate court.
Yeah. Back to the AI thing. I was talking with somebody recently and I'm like trying to work it out right now, but he was working on it with Claude Cowork, where he's got a similar situation with you where you send out the questionnaire and right. So they charge us for consultations. So he's setting it up where when a consultation is paid, Claude sees that, grabs the person's email, grabs the questionnaire, emails the person, waits for the questionnaire to come back, right? And then the attorney does the design meeting, right? Initial consultation, takes their notes, logs into Wealth Counsel, drafts the documents, right? And it's like,
oh man, that's amazing.
Right.
From a customer perspective, how much longer are we going to need case management software? I'm just like, that doesn't do all the stuff you're talking about, and it's really expensive. Right. So there's quite a few pieces of software. It's like I keep hearing like the Claude Code, where you can vibe code something and just tell it like, I just want to create this website that does this, and it's just like, man, it does it with again very little instruction. I haven't really played around with that either, but it just seems
we're in the process of making a directory, Non-Stuffy attorneys directory. And there's some things that we're going to do to stand out. Now, this was an idea we had a year ago. And my business partner and I, we talked to, he knows some developers over in maybe Hungary. I forget where. But we got a quote from them to do it. And they looked at all the back end, all of it. And the quote came back and it would take 12 months minimum. And it was going to be around $400,000 to build it. Okay. Now, knowing how things work, right, I would probably double that cost, right? $800,000 to build it, and probably a year and a half to 2 years. So, we obviously didn't have the capital to do it then. And my partner, Ryan, in the last week and a half, he has almost entirely built it using AI.
It's crazy.
And it looks really good. It's like,
I just, it's like, it's both very scary and very exciting at the same time, because it's like, well, you're getting rid of those guys, like who's getting rid of us? I don't know. I don't know. All areas of law. Obviously estate plan is something, but it's like, why can't these things read the rules of civil procedure? And they're gonna draft interrogatories and document requests and that kind of stuff. And 90% of litigation is in discovery, and that's all just like asking for documents and then reviewing them, taking depositions and then cutting out the best parts. Like, why can't AI do all of that right now?
It can.
So
it's 100% there right now.
Yeah. So
man, it's gonna cut down consumer costs a lot. right? Like
That's us.
right. So, but if you can do an estate plan, right? A full trust plan, you meet with the client, initially do the sales call, and then you do a design meeting. And then the next is essentially just a signing appointment, right? That, and everything else is automated. I mean, you can charge less.
Yeah. I mean, obviously the problem with estate planning is that people don't do it. I mean, I don't know if it's really a verified number, but I think I've heard like 70% of people that pass away do not have an estate plan. So that really is the big problem that, we really should be trying to solve, honestly. So maybe this is going to do that. I don't know. But it'll be very different business model. And that very different business model might be like, couple of years. I mean, it's like you're not even gonna have time to adjust. I got a creditor claim from some attorney out of state, and looked him up, and no website, and called him, and he's like, send me an email and I will send back the information about the creditor claim. And he gives me his email address. It's an AOL.com email address. I'm like, man, this is like a different generation I'm dealing with here. So it's like I'm out here killing myself trying to be on the cutting edge of everything all the time, doing all these videos and everything else. And here's this guy doesn't have a website or an email address. I don't know. That's gonna be me, I guess.
That's what we have to look at. That's what we have to look at. Okay, so he was cutting edge. 30 years ago. So
AOL email address. Wow.
Right.
Amazing.
You actually have an internet connection. Holy shit. You're
So
But yeah, I think for us, right? If we don't stay up with it, and for the attorneys who are kind of resting on their laurels, they're going to be that AOL email address. And this is it. It's here now. It's like you're either gonna use AI agents or you're gonna get left behind.
I mean, it's been so sudden. I remember the first thing I heard about ChatGPT, the next day, I asked it to draft me a will, and I was like, I mean, getting back to my Orange Book forms that I talked about at the very beginning of this, it's like, this is on par with that. I mean, it's those are meant to be pretty generic, right? So that, again, attorneys that don't specialize in this can kind of crank out a will without too much effort. And this is about like that. So I don't know if getting into a little bit more higher, at the same time, all this is happening, of course, the estate tax keeps becoming less and less of an issue. Like I said, I got into this in 2013. At that point, it was that was fresh off of the American Tax Relief Act, bumping it up to $5 million per person and letting couples combine, which was, I didn't know any other world. That's what I came into. But I feel like it's a pretty good gravy train, I think, for people back in when everybody needed a life insurance trust, right? You just had your financial advisor and your insurance agent, and the three of you were just passing around clients, and everybody needed that. And just sounds like an amazing thing. And I don't know what is next, but not too many clients need those anymore, but that's maybe the harder thing for AI to do. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know either. You look at these robots that Musk is creating.
Yeah.
It's in the very near future, we're going to have robots going to the grocery store and buying groceries, driving home.
We're totally on the path to that WALL-E, the ending scene of WALL-E, just floating around in chairs and eating Doritos or whatever. I don't know. Probably gonna have to find a new purpose, I guess. But for the moment, I don't know. I carry on, and still getting clients to pay us, and I still feel like we are definitely adding some value.
I think it's a lot like the Industrial Revolution, though.
Yeah. No more.
I'm sure people back then were screaming that all the jobs are going to be gone.
Yeah, That is definitely what I keep hearing. Is like, yeah, every time people think like, oh, this new technology is going to take away jobs, like, yeah, it does, but it gets replaced with something else. But
Right.
I don't know. It's this is really remarkable. So yeah, I don't know. Probate probably can also be somewhat automated, but a little bit harder. So and it's interesting. I just feel like, yeah, it's a little bit of variety, and like I said, a totally different business model and totally different fee structure and totally different pace to how people pay you, and the sales job, like everything is just totally different. So for better or worse, right? So in some ways, like I said, it's been trying to get this whole second business going. It's been a little bit of a challenge.
Yeah. All starts with the marketing, right? As long as you get leads coming in, and then, I mean, for us, that was a little bit of it, right? We were already getting leads coming in from our estate planning marketing, because a lot of people think sometimes they need a estate planning attorney when they need probate. So we were getting the leads, and then we just had to fucking figure out the processes,
I've heard about your postcard campaigns. Like, are those dedicated to estate planning, or do they mention probate?
They do mention it. They do, like at the very bottom of the front of the card, it says, estate planning or wills, bullet point, trust, bullet point, probate, right? Elder law, Medicaid. But the pretty much the entirety of the card is directed towards estate planning.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because probate is hard. I don't know where else you can market it besides Google.
Yeah. No, like I said, it's a really, I feel like it's a lot like personal injury advertising. It's just like, I just got to get them to remember me, so that when they show, when this issue arises at some point, it's like most people are going to have some role in some sort of estate administration process in their lives. And maybe they'll remember me if I put myself out there enough. But man, those guys spend a lot.
Oh my God. I just did a podcast with a guy who's a personal injury attorney, and he's in the Houston area. $350 per click is what he was paying. Per click.
Yeah. That's amazing.
Amazing. Yeah. When we do, when a PI attorney calls us up and wants to do marketing with us, it's like, look, your minimum is like 15 grand a month. Like, and it's not going to be the greatest.
Amazing. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I don't know how you get started. That's amazing. Yeah, and every city has its dominant. We got like 3 or 4 that you can rattle off their names and see them everywhere. So yeah, it's amazing. But yeah, so it's hard to think of like those guys can make $1 million on a case, right? If they land the right case, they get $1 million. Like you land a probate, like you're not getting $1 million, right? I mean, I don't think that's gonna happen. So
no, you're not getting $1 million. We just sold one yesterday. It's the biggest one in a long time, but we sold one yesterday for $70,000. So that was nice.
That's the fee.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I assume it's a pretty large estate. It's based on.
Yeah. I don't know the details on it, but it's probably 3-4 million, probably something like that.
Okay. That's pretty good. That's good. Okay.
Yeah, it's been a while since we had a big one like that, so it was nice.
Yeah. I'd say most of ours are in the 6 to 10 range. So yeah, $350 a click is not going to work.
No. No, our probates. Yeah, we average. Last I checked, I think it was like 6,700 is what we average. Yeah.
Okay. Yep.
I want to get it up higher, obviously, but
yeah, you kind of hope like it's like people are spending money that isn't. I mean, eventually becomes, at least some of it becomes theirs. So yes, they are spending money, but maybe it feels a little bit different than just spending your own money. So again, different sales job, but still, I don't know. We still run into some price resistance. So
do you require payment up front?
We do. We just we just modified our fee agreement to give people a way to kind of cover the first part that just gets it going. So at least they can get access to the account. That's what we always run into. It's like, I don't have access to the account. So I don't have, $7,000, $8,000, $9,000 to give you right now, but I will if you get the account, get access to the account. So just trying to get them that part. And then,
So you just started doing that?
yeah, like last month.
Yeah, we've been doing that for a while. We'll 9 times out of 10, we require cost payments up front. So we'll either take $500 or $750, depending on the county. But we usually charge more too if it's a pay later option.
Oh, yeah, I did that for a while. Like I basically, like in Colorado with a flat fee, you have to break the fee out into, I don't know if you have to do this in Florida, break the fee out into segments so that if they fire you before you've done everything, like they're entitled to some refund, right? You can't say, oh, sorry, you hired me yesterday and now I'm taking the whole thing. So that was kind of naturally done. So by that. And so initially, like when I set up our probate fee agreement, I just required the first segment to be paid. But if they paid the whole thing, like there was like a 10% discount or something like that. And at some point, like my staff was just like, this is a pain in the butt to figure this out. Like, when do we implement it and how do we keep track of it and all this kind of stuff.
It's a total pain in the ass. We have one employee who her whole job is accounts receivable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right. She's constantly, that's all she does is keep track of these people and follow up with them. And yeah, that's her entire full-time job.
Yeah. Obviously it's a nightmare once you're involved in a court case that if they disappear on you or don't pay that next part and you have to withdraw and yeah. So at some point they prevailed on me, like, let's just stop doing that. We'll just require the whole fee up front. And again, it's gone okay, but I've been telling you this whole time, like we're trying to get more probate cases. So I got to be a little bit more accommodating, I guess. So, yeah.
You'll figure it out.
It's just got to focus on it. And like I said, once that's the other part of like having another attorney come on is just and trying to get me out of maybe the day-to-day legal work more than I've been able to so far.
Yeah. Well, your wife should be able to figure it out. She's going to manage everything, right?
Yeah, she's pretty busy too. So she's not looking for stuff to do either. That's a challenge. It's like everybody's always busy, right? It's just like if somebody's not busy, it's just like that's a problem. So like, when stuff comes up, it's like I don't really feel like I have anyone who's looking for anything to do here. So
yeah, is she drafting?
No, we have a drafter.
Okay.
Yeah, so we have somebody who drafts. So yeah, used to be here in the office and then found love internationally and lives in Ireland. So so we were trying to figure out how to keep her because she's one of our best employees. So we really wanted to keep her around. So she drafts. We use Wealth Counsel and we've got our templates and our scenarios and all that. And she's really good. So yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, Dan, it's been great talking to you.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. Always love, seeing what other people are doing, and I'm sure everyone else likes to hear what you're doing as well. And yeah, appreciate you coming on and sharing.
It's always interesting because it's like, I see all your stuff. Obviously, I'm in your Facebook group and everything else, so I know you guys. Pretty good story there about pretty fast revenue growth that I'm impressed with and all that. But every once in a while I picked up something in your podcast where it's like, yeah, we did that. That was a total disaster. We're not doing that again. Oh yeah, okay. they've done like Steve Jobs puts out like the Lisa or whatever like that. Like Steve Jobs had like a lot of duds, a lot, right? If you go back and look at everything that Apple did, well, Steve Jobs and Apple, it's like, oh, I forgot about that. Like, people remember the iPhone, right? There's
you don't usually promote your failures.
But it's good to hear. So we're all talking about like, hiring attorneys and doing new marketing campaigns. And it says, it sounds like everybody's just having nothing but success. Like, no.
Nope. Not the case.
Definitely not.
There's lots of bumps and bruises.
Yeah. still 13 years in. When we had our 10-year anniversary, we had someone in the office nearby. It's like, oh, you've made it, like 10 years, like that's it, like you're in, like there's no chance. Like, no, I still feel pretty much every day like this could go away like next month if I don't, like if this week, like I heard like I listened to one recently where you said like you track every week, like so do we. And sometimes like maybe that's a little bit too much because it's like I can get all worked up about like 1 week where it's like the leads are a little low. So, and it's like it just was luck. I don't know. So.
Yeah. I was sitting in bed the other night and I remember it was a couple of weeks ago and revenue was down. We had a few shitty weeks in a row. I was like, God damn it. And I was just like anxious as hell laying there trying to go to sleep, just thinking about the business and like, what do we need to do this and we need to do that and what do we need to blah blah blah, and just mind's just racing and just anxious about it. And it's funny because I don't think we're doing great, right? We are, and we really have from the get-go. And there's never been a point where we have come close to not making payroll or not paying our bills or ever been behind on any bills. And, but I've never not had that anxiousness about the business. And I think that's just part of maybe owning a business. Yeah. It's like, okay, you look at some of these, okay, Steve Jobs, right? Did he have that same anxiousness?
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know if it's estate planning specifically, or if this really is, it's just like with estate planning, it's just like, yeah, you constantly need new clients, right?
Yes.
There is repeat business, but, I don't know. You're never gonna. I don't know. It would take a long time to get to a point where it's like the repeat business is enough to support what you need. So,
right. That's part of the. Yeah, that's part of the game, man. You got to just keep getting new clients, and that's having this marketing company with Ryan. All of our clients are on recurring, monthly payments, and I'll tell you what, I don't stress about that company. It's really, it's like, you're getting paid every month and they're just paying. And now the thing is to do an excellent job to keep them with you. It's like, okay, if we get 5, we get 10 new clients in a month and we lose 2 or 3, it's like, fine, estate plan, for the law firm though, it's like, hey, we go a couple of weeks without making any sales. It's like,
yeah. That's another thing that's in the same category for me as seminars. Like I've run into a ton of people who have made like the subscription model work in estate planning and just have like a ton of clients, and I did rave about it. And that also, I've not really been able to figure that out for whatever reason, just like getting enough to make it worthwhile without totally overburdening our staff with just a ton of stuff. So it seems like, again, I see other people succeed with that, but yeah, a lot of subscription model estate planning attorneys out there too. So,
are there really?
Yeah.
How are they doing it?
They've got. I think I have a book somewhere in here by somebody who wrote about how to do it. If I remember what it was, I will send the title to you. But yeah. No, there's definitely people who have annual fees or monthly ongoing fees or whatever else, and for sure.
We have a called our legacy protection plan. It's like $1,200 for a couple per year.
That's it.
Yeah. Okay. We've not been very successful at selling it.
We have something too. And same thing. It's just like, people have just paid us a pretty good chunk of change. And it's like, here's this other thing. You're not going to need updates probably in the next year. Like, probably going to be a few years out. So in the meantime, how are you giving them value again without creating a ton of work on your staff? So that's,
I haven't found it. I haven't found how to portray that value.
Yeah. Well, some people have. There's another guy out there who's like really adamantly opposed to those and feels like, eventually clients do kind of get fed up with that bill and kind of like, what am I getting out of this? And they kind of leave with a sour taste in their mouth at some point. And he feels like just regular, every few year check-ins are a better idea. So it's not without controversy.
Yeah, I'm more on that guy's side. I think, yeah, every couple of years, have them do whatever, pay for individual updates or whatever. We could be a lot better with that. Yeah. Like actually following up with past clients and, hey, you need an update?
Yeah. Well, I cut you off. You were yeah.
Dude, I'll sit here and talk all day, but I seriously will.
I don't know what you see on the pod. You're like, when does the listenership start to okay, 1 hour and 15 minutes? There's
oh, you know what? I don't give a shit. I don't care. If they want to listen to it, they'll listen to it. If they want to,
that's like the Tim Ferriss and all those guys out there. They're doing like 3 hour, 4 hour podcast. Hey, did one come across? Who was it? One of those guys came across like 4 hours. I'm like, no, I don't care how interested I'm in this.
Yeah, I'm more. I do this because it's we get good content out of it. I learn a lot, right, by talking to other professionals. And for some people it's helpful, but honestly, I'm gonna keep myself entertained while doing it. So I'm gonna talk about whatever the fuck I want to talk about with my guests. And yeah, we talk for 2 hours or 40 minutes, whatever.
Good. Well, good. Well, I appreciate your efforts, and all the stuff you're putting out there is pretty good. So
yeah, dude, stay in touch. Look, I always make myself available if you ever want to bounce anything off of me. Always make myself available.
Great. Well, I appreciate it.
Cool, dude.
All right.
Talk to you soon.
Okay, thanks.